Hello, me again. The first one was a unmitigated disaster, and we're going to try that again. Hello, it's your boy Dave. This is my first real time going live, so apologies if I fuck it up or whatever. I'm just going to be talking about some business and things and stuff and whatnot, and see where it takes us. Yeah, I'd like to start off by there's little messages appearing here. I have no idea what they say. We're still spreading the word that you're live. This may take a minute. I'm really beginning to regret this now. Yes, school. As you probably saw from the title of the video, school. I went to a school in England before I came up to live in Scotland. I'm not going to say the school's name. That's the whole reason I stopped doing the other video, because saying the school's name, I don't know if I'm allowed to. I don't want to give them any worse publicity than they already probably have. Blah, 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 blah. So I was at this school, let's call it the Chav Academy for Wayward Bastards. And it was a bit of a crap hole, to be perfectly honest with you. Full of various Ali G rejects who there was a specific way of acting and talking when you went there, right? It was an all-boys school, not a single girl to be seen unless you travelled across the field to the other school, which was like separated by a minefield, a barbed wire fence, and various degrees of racism. But yeah, this school, there was a certain law you had to abide by being a boy, being at this school. You had to sort of, be a bit mental. I believe the correct term is troubled. Be a little bit troubled. You had to talk like this, blood. Know what I mean? You had to have like a deep fucking Ali G reject kind of voice. We had a few fatalities on the teaching staff, I'm ashamed to admit. Because it was a very stressful job, dealing with all of us wild bampots. We had this drama teacher, I can't remember his real name, but I think it was Mr. Terry, something like that, but he passed out on us. He was this great big kind of fat lad. I mean that in the best possible way. If you're fat or whatever, go do you. Have yourself a cake to celebrate. But it's anyone's right to be fat, but he abused the privilege. He was giganimous. He was like some kind of Dr. Seuss imaginary creation. He'd always yell at me to tuck my shirt in, but his shirt rode up somewhere by his nipples. He was a nice enough guy, though, really. But one day he came into class. He was obviously a drama teacher. He came in and he said, "Right, guys, I'm going to be leading you." He fucking waddled in, "Right, guys, I'm going to be leading you all through a physical workout today. Things are going to get pretty hectic, so be ready." He put his Mars bar in the top drawer of his desk and he turned around to face us. And he was like, oh, he was lovely, but he was a bit much. He led us through this workout, this physical workout. It lasted about 2 minutes before he passed out and kind of struck the floor very hard, nearly crushing a small boy named Connor. I should point out we had a nickname for him, right? I think I've already said this, but fuck it. We called him Ollivander. Because for a costume thing at the school, he dressed up as Ollivander, the bloke who runs the wand shop in Harry Potter. So when he hits the floor, all of the boys in the class immediately start freaking out, and we all sort of turn around to the sort of head boy, like this head criminal amongst us. And he sits there staring at the teacher. Teacher was still alive, by the way. We poked him. We made sure. He looks at the teacher, nudges him with his foot, lights his fag, because he had a fag on him, and goes, "Fucking hurry up, sir, I've got to get on to my kids, innit?" It was beautiful. It was beautiful. So we all sent this wee boy, and that nearly got crushed, out into the hallway to get help. And the wee boy went running around the entire fucking school yelling, "Help, Ollivander is dead." I thought we were going to get in trouble for a spoiler alert or something, you know. But, yeah, man, it was... I could tell lots of stories about that school, but I don't want to be here all night. Because someone's just appeared watching there and then fucked off again. So I'm assuming that this is boring or whatever. I apologise if it is. The school was amazing, though. We did the cross-country run, eh? And it was very troublesome, because obviously you know from looking at me or knowing me in real life, I'm a fat lad. I can't run worth a damn. So it was me and these 3 other guys bringing up the back line of the cross-country run. We were the final row. Everyone else had already went off. But we're walking along, because fuck running. And I'm like, I'm not in good shape, guys. I can't do this. And the other boy, funnily enough, the same one that, you know, told the teacher he needed to go with his kids, was like, "You can't be moaning, blood. What are you moaning for, man? I smoke, innit? I can't be running and smoking, man. It's dangerous. You could die from it, blood." And I'm sitting there thinking, well, you die from... Yeah, no, it's not the smoking that's bad for you. It's the running. What was I on about? I had an entire thing, and it's completely fucked off. Completely left my mind. Should apologise for my language. But this is what I do, sadly. Man, it was an amazing place. There was this Japanese teacher. Obviously he didn't teach the class Japanese, he taught maths. But he's a big old Japanese guy. And if anyone talked in his class, he would threaten to stop their mothers, like in the street, because he reckons he sees all our mums as they're coming to get us, or we're walking home to meet them, or whatever. You know? And he'd just go like... he stopped me once while he was in the middle of teaching a class, but I wanted to chat. So I'm talking to someone about... what was I talking about? Digimon, strangely enough. Digimon, I just got the PS1 Digimon World 2003. And he goes to me, Irvin! Irvin, you are talking! Forgive my extremely terrible accent. You are talking! I will stop your mother! I will tell your mother everything! And it's like, oh, shit, no, please don't tell my mum nothing, please, I'm so sorry. And then he'd give you this smile like, yeah, I've fucking won. Have it. So there was this other kid, a big, I don't want to sound horrible, where was he from? Nigeria originally. I'll not say his name because he's probably on here somewhere, and if he sees this, I'm sorry for telling this. But he was talking, and the teacher turned around to him like, "You will stop, I will find your mother." And he turned around to the teacher and he went, "You find my mum, blood, she will fucking do you in it." And from that day, the teacher never really said anything. I don't think I saw him again. In other news, I've been playing Resident Evil 0. For those of you who don't know, you run around shooting people, shooting zombies and monsters and various things like that. But I've been playing it on my GameCube, because I'm a retro loser. What do you call it? A retro aficionado, if you want to sound like a pretentious numpty, which I am. But I couldn't figure out the controls. You're meant to walk around this train and get the other lad to follow you because you have a partner. And I'm sitting there pressing all these buttons and moving my girl about, and he's just not following at all. And it's like, well, come on, hurry up, follow me. And he's just sitting there. And I'm like, I found a button that talks to him, and it's like, come on. Sure, no problem. But he's not moving, so he's not just ignorant, he's sarcastic as well. I'll get right on that, Dave, you know. And I'm throwing all these buttons and everything, and he's refusing to move. And then, in frustration, I throw the controller down, and suddenly I'm controlling him. And it's like, what the fuck did I press? Go through all the buttons again, no joy. No fucking joy whatsoever. He's just sitting there chilling. So in the end, through my various machinations, I convinced her to follow me. I spent a good 45 minutes figuring out how to control both of them. So I go from room to room with him, and then I switch to her and bring her into the room. Because there's some things in certain rooms you have to do with two people. So it's like, okay, right. Go into the room. Go into the other room. Go into the third room. Bring her, 1, 2, 3. And then finally, I press the middle fucking Z button or whatever it is, and he goes, follow me. And she goes, okay, no problem. And then she starts following me. And then we walked into another room and got killed by a fucking monkey. In other news, Noah's Ark. I'm quite religious. And I was recently reading the story of Noah's Ark, and I thought, this is a little bit silly. It doesn't make a great deal of sense. For those of you who don't know, Noah was this sort of older gentleman who lived in a desert somewhere. And one day God came to him, and I'm paraphrasing slightly, said, hey, how you doing, Noah? And Noah went, fucking hell, alright. Listen here, Noah. I'm a bit upset. To be honest with you, I'm a little bit miffed. You lot, all your people they're being a bit naughty, and I'm not happy about it, right? I'm a bit miffed. I want you to build an ark, right? A big ark, because it's gonna absolutely piss it down for 40 days and 40 nights. And when it does, you're all gonna fucking drown unless you build this ark, right? And Noah went, right, no trouble. What's an ark? And God went, it's a boat. Ah, right. What am I going to build it out of? Stickle bricks, I don't fucking know, figure it out. So Noah went and got some wood from trees in the middle of the desert. And he built this ark. This boat. And he was like, right, I will bring 2 of every creature, because I've got an email from God and he wants me to do it. 2 of every creature onto this boat, because I assume the lions and tigers have got to eat something and they want a choice. So again, he went around all of the desert, finding all of the animals he could find, and I assume that was 2 of every creature that was in the desert. So by the end, he had about 30. And the reason God was gonna make it rain was because humans had become wicked, and anyone who was in the rain and drowned was wicked, you know. So I got to thinking, what did the ducks do? You know, there's some creatures he's not going to be able to get on his boat. He'll not get elephants on. He'll not get dinosaurs on. I assume dinosaurs weren't about, but fuck it. He'll not get fleas on, because how do you bottle a flea? Like, oh, there's one. That'll fucking do, right? Oh, they're 2 blokes. We don't have that sort of thing in the Bible. Nope. And it's like, it's a little bit unreal, isn't it? But 2 of every creature. And then they all got in the boat, and it became Scottish summer for 40 days and 40 nights. And then Noah sent out I think it was a wee blackbird. And the blackbird had a look around and came back like, yeah, Noah, there's no joy. We're still all a bit wet, still all a bit drippy out there. The fish drove by, because apparently fish can drive now, and called me a wanker. It is true that fish are wicked and deserve to drown. Somehow. So for some reason, the blackbird was told to op it. And Noah sent out a nice white bird instead, because God knows only white things can be trusted. Sent him out with a wee bush or whatever in his mouth. No, in fact, he said to him, bring me back something that shows that the land is no longer wet. And I assume the bird fucked off for a good couple of days. And he came back with a branch. And this is where things get a bit hazy. Because he turned up with his branch, and he was like, here you are, Noah, here's your branch. Noah was like, oh, brilliant, thank you. Right, that means it's dry out. But I don't think that's true, because, you know, it could still be flooded, and the tree branch could just be high up. The bird's not going to be able to find, unless this bird's got scuba gear on. He's not a very reliable source of what areas are. I'm now babbling, ladies and gentlemen. This started off with talking about a shitty school and has now become birds in scuba gear. There was another thing. There was indeed. Yes, indeed. Seagulls. Birds are shy, and I'm sure everyone will agree with me on that. I was once attacked, in fact molested by a seagull. I went for a job interview up in Pitreavie for a call centre, and basically I drank a lot of caffeine to get myself physically awake and ready for the interview, and it went pretty well. I started working there, but it was a hot sunny day, and I started walking home. I'd left my bathroom window open. I started walking home, and because of all the caffeine, I needed the toilet. So got into my house in a bit of a hurry to avoid, as it were, ran up the stairs, sat down on the toilet, and apologies to anyone who doesn't want to hear this, it's about to get very personal. I started taking part in the activities one would take part in a toilet, and all of a sudden I heard. I thought, the fuck is this? God? Is that you? God, it's Dave. We've not spoken in ages. I think the boat idea was a bit shit, but turns out it wasn't God. I thought, there is a sex offender somewhere in this room, and he's just waiting to leap out at me. Looked over here, no joy. Over to the right, not a jot. Down, nope. What the fuck is going on? I moved my belly out of the way so I could see down into the toilet. No joy. So I got up. I went out into the hallway. Nothing there. Checked the airing cupboard, which has always been a source of pride for me. We have an airing cupboard, aren't we posh? Come back into the bathroom thinking I've finally gone mad. And then I turned to the bathtub and I saw it. This creature, it was like a scene out of a Lovecraftian story, you know. You see something that drives you insane, something that reaches into your mind and wraps its claws around your sanity, scrambles it all around and rips it out through your nostrils, and it stays with you until your dying day. To think on it, to speak on it, is enough to drive you mad. I froze as I saw it. There was a fucking seagull in my bath. And when I say in my bath, I mean it was having a bath. It was reading the new Harry Potter book, and it was enjoying itself. You know, it had a wee ashtray and a fag floating by, just in case, you know, it needed its nicotine top-up. And I didn't know what to do. I ran back out to the airing cupboard. I got a towel in my hands. I ran back into the bathroom to make sure he was still there. You know, I lit his cigarette for him. I was confused and scared. I picked him up. I wrapped him in the towel. He pecked me 6 or 7 times just to, I assume, encourage me. I ran down the stairs, fell 3 steps down and nearly smashed myself and him against the wall. The last thing I need is a seagull to be a grease stain on the fucking wall. I ran out into the back garden, up the stairs, into the extended foresty bit at the back of our garden. I laid him down in his towel. He looked at me like, where's my fag? I thought, shit. I unwrapped the towel. He stared at me, and I stared at him. Something had happened between us this day. We'd been through the wars. We had both bonded on a psychological, psionic, mental level. He and I were now one, because he'd seen my dick. We stared at each other, and a lifetime passed in between us. And then he got up and flapped away. I picked up the towel, and I turned round to my next door neighbours, who are all now standing in their garden light. I said good afternoon, pulled my pants up and went back in the house. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, those of you who are watching. I love you all, and bye-bye. It's not ending. Ah.